Morning, Trainiacs. Just in there, did a 3,000 meter swim in, get this, this is gonna blow your mind, 36 minutes. Getting fast. Or swimming with the current the entire way. You decide, not sure. So I don't know if you've seen, heard, watched, but Ironman is announcing huge things. Number one, the name of the World Championship is changing. Number two, the World Championship swim is changing. And number three, they're talking about a $500 million IPO. We're gonna go through all that, and just in case you didn't know, I used to be a financial advisor, albeit not a very happy or great one. So who knows if you want to tune in to this gobbledygook I'm about to spew. Let's give it a try. All right, Trainiacs, we have some huge news. 3 pieces of huge news from our friends at Ironman. 2 that are fairly innocuous and won't really affect any of you, but one that I think, based on the timing of a lot of these announcements, that they might have tried to bury this news. And with my background as a former financial advisor, I think I might have some good insight on a $500 million deal. So let's start with the name change. The Ironman World Championship in Kona is now going to be the Vega Ironman World Championship in Kona. This is nothing new. Ironman has always been sponsored by Ford or Amazon or GoPro. Ironman has always been sponsored by some big name out there. This is a really nice fit because Vega was founded back in 2001 by a professional triathlete, Brendan Brazier. Now, Vega is a vegan sports supplement company. All of the athletes who qualify for Kona will get a discount on these tasty vegan vittles, and it will be available on the course to them. Personally, I think that they've got some good products. Their protein, really tasty. Their workout recovery, really good. Like, it's in that 4-to-1 carb to protein ratio that we want, with a mixture of vegan protein that is really easily absorbable. Their electrolytes, not really something that I'm into because the sodium to potassium ratio kind of skewed basically 1-to-4, and you kind of want 4-to-1. You want more sodium than potassium. But all in all, besides being kind of overpriced, I like Vega. Good company. So that's interesting. Nice little tie-in there with the founder being a triathlete and us being triathletes. Next, the Ironman swim start that has historically been one of the last remaining mass swim starts is getting broken up into 11 different groups now. Andrew Messick, the CEO of Ironman, said, "The swim start change is a reflection of and reaction to the extraordinary ability of our Ironman World Championship athletes. While we appreciate the simplicity and iconic visual of the mass start, our primary responsibility is to create a fair race for all athletes. A single start for each age group men and age group women create too much density on the bike course." So essentially what's happening, and this was fairly public over the last few months, is there was a lot of drafting going on in the bike section of the Ironman race, because while the video that is broadcast on NBC every single year leads you to believe that basically from 7:52 when Patrick Lange crosses the finish line right up until 17 hours at midnight, that there are people trickling in constantly, it's not really the case. Between about hours 9 and 11, that's like 85% of the field. This is a world championship. These are the best athletes around, so everyone just clusters together, and having just 4 send-offs with pro men, then 5 minutes later pro women, then 20 minutes later, I believe it was, age group men, then age group women, everything was too clustered. So now what they're going to do is 11 different age categories, pro men, pro women, and then starting from youngest to oldest men, then youngest to oldest women. So how does this affect you? Well, I think the biggest thing is that it says World Triathlon Corporation and Ironman isn't so married to tradition that they will sacrifice the quality of the experience and the race, which I really like. Also kind of tells me that they might change something that is so sacred as the mass start that they could potentially change the Ironman World Championship to be maybe 2 days. Do something kind of similar to the half Ironman World Championship, where instead of being limited to just 2,400 athletes on one day in Kona, could potentially do 4,500 athletes over 2 days. I don't know if they'll go that way because that creates a lot of logistical issues, but that, just say additional 2,100 athletes just with entry fees alone creates more than $2 million of revenue for Ironman. Could be tough to turn down. That also then leads to the biggest announcement, and this is the big thing that I spent a ton of time diving into. This is the $500 million IPO announcement. Okay, so bear with me here. I'm going to try to make this as simple as I can. It's not hard because I'm a fairly simple dude. Ironman itself is owned by World Triathlon Corporation. It operates all of the Ironman events and a number of other different events. World Triathlon Corporation is owned by Dylan Wanda Group. This is a Chinese company that has hundreds of billions of dollars of revenue over multiple different businesses. But Dylan Wanda Group ended up buying for $650 million Ironman and In-Front Sports back in 2015. Back in 2015, Dylan Wanda Group created Wanda Sports Group, which includes Ironman, which they bought for $650 million, and In-Front Sports, which they bought for $1.2 billion. This sports division is what they have filed an initial public offering with the SEC to sell off $500 million of this sports division. So Dylan Wanda Group owns a company called Dylan Sports Group, and Dylan Sports Group owns World Triathlon Corporation, Ironman, and In-Front Sports. It's this sports group that they are doing the IPO on. Now, what does this tell us? Because they don't open the kimono and tell us absolutely all the financials of everything that these companies make and why they're doing it and is it profitable, but we can kind of dig into this if you're a former financial guy. Now, in this SEC filing for the IPO, Dylan Wanda Group did not say what valuation they're putting on this sports division. Now remember, they bought it for a total of $650 million for World Triathlon Corporation, $1.2 billion for In-Front Sports, totaling $1.85 billion. What we can look at is look at the sales and the revenue that they had to report with this IPO, and at most we can look at maybe a valuation of 1.6 billion. So we're looking at a cost of 1.85 billion, and potentially the value of those two companies, World Triathlon Corporation and In-Front Sports, has declined. Why might that be? Well, this sports group has revenues of $1.3 billion every single year, but a bottom line profit of just $63 million. But that is just a 4.8% return on the $1.85 billion that it cost Dylan Wanda Group to buy Ironman and In-Front Sports. That's not a very good return on your money when you could just theoretically stick that into the stock market and over a number of years make 7 to 10%. Also then when you look at it and you say back in 2015 when they bought these two companies that it cost them $1.85 billion, and now the valuation might be like $1.6 billion, even if they were taking that entire $63 million of profit out every single year, which they can't really because they've actually had some losses, we're looking at a total return more like 2%. And what we know is that Dylan Wanda Group isn't like stripping cash out of the company in other ways by like taking on massive loans of debt that they end up pulling out back into their pockets, because there was a whole bunch of debt put onto these companies before they were even purchased by Dylan Wanda Group. And this entire $500 million IPO is largely just to pay off that debt. So we're looking at Ironman and Infront Sports and this sports media company that essentially Dylan Wanda Group, I think, is trying whatever way they can to get out of in a slightly profitable way. Maybe just in a break-even kind of sense. Granted, breaking even is like, rounding error of a few $100 million. So tough life. But this makes perfect sense. Why would a company sell off something that was a cash cow, that was tremendously profitable? They tend not to unless they can get massive, massive valuations in an IPO. Like if they had bought this for $1.85 billion and the valuation was like $5 billion, sure, makes sense. But from what I can read in the SEC filing, that isn't quite the case. So what I've been saying all along, I think is the case that yes, Ironman is the big 10,000 pound gorilla that drives this triathlon industry, but things aren't all roses. Take away the expansion that Ironman has seen in Asia, and our sport is actually shrinking here in North America. Now, everything goes in ebbs and flows, but this confirms that it's not just pumping out cash and that Ironman is this massive corporation with hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of money that they're just sitting on. Meanwhile, they're charging us through the nose. Everything costs money, and they are providing a service that changes people's lives. So the high ticket items that they sell, the branding that they do, sometimes the unfortunate corporatism that people have a problem with, it's all part of running a profitable business and making sure that Ironman can continue to change lives. And I'm cool with that. So this has been a long video. If you want to get more long videos when the next time a sports management triathlon company is going to go public, but if you want to subscribe to a former financial advisor who tries to make slightly educated guesses on what's going on with topics like this, hit that subscribe button below. Later, Trainiacs.